Well, it's been an hour. Feels dry. According to the can, it should be dry. So now I'm going to take some longer strips. And this I pretty much do freehand. Put a 1/4 inch up. Try to find the middle. That looks like the middle. Just lay that out. Making sure it stays about a 1/4 inch. No, ain't quite a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch there. Try to find the middle. That looks good. There we go. And that's a 1/4 inch up. Now I want to pack this in real firm to try to eliminate that bleed that happened on the driver's side. The bottom of the paint or the bottom of the tape's not that big of a deal, I think. Just want to make sure it's good and tight so you don't get that bleed over. Bring it to the point here. Yep, that ain't long enough. That happens sometimes. So then you overcompensate and make it too long. But okay, bring nice point right there. Bring that in about a 1/4 inch. There, I got my point. Got the 1/4 inch there. And again, I want to get that inside seam nice and tight. Hopefully I can avoid that bleed through that it had. The rest is just covering the rest of the outside emblem to keep it from getting turned red. Get the top of that coated. A couple more pieces down here to cover the bottom. And that should cover it. Just make sure you got all the edges covered. You don't want to have to redo the black part. Yeah, that just makes sure that I have the rest of it. Well, I gotta go grab the paint and shake it up a bit. Okay, again, I'm using the Krillin, but this is dual. It is a paint and primer in cherry red, and it is glossy, so it will reflect more light. It will show itself off, leaving the flat black behind it to kind of blend in with the window. And you really gotta look carefully to see it. And I kind of like that little major contrast. And it also happens to be the paint that I had left over when I painted the tonneau cover and my headache rack. So I'm just using what I already got to get it done as cheaply as possible. Make sure it's shaken well. And again, short, quick bursts. Wait a minute between shots. Well, maybe not a full minute, but let it set up a little bit. See there where I got the heavy spots? You want to try to avoid that. For some reason I try going left to right. It don't work that way. At least my hand don't work that way. But hopefully by letting it set up a little bit, when I put the next layer on, I'm going to go a little heavier than normal. It won't bleed through. Hopefully that first layer I put down will kind of make it like a dam, I'm hoping. Guess we'll find out. Now that's probably way too much paint, and it's going to be probably way too thick. But this is all part of a learning curve, so we'll figure that out when I peel the tape off. Now this paint takes a little bit longer for it to dry. It okay, dries to touch in 25 minutes, handle in 2 hours. So So I'm definitely going to give this at least a full 2 hours, maybe more. So I want to pull the truck all the way into the garage before I can shut the door. And then I'll come back in about 2 hours and see what it looks like. I'm disappointed that I had to put the paint on that heavy. But I think maybe I was holding the can a little too close, but I was afraid of overspray. So I guess to do it right, you want to mask off a greater area so you can get more distance between the paint gun or the paint can gun, and your surface. That way you don't have to put it on this heavy. But I'm not saying I'm a professional. I'm a professional amateur. We'll leave it that way. A professional amateur. That means I've been an amateur for a long, long time, and I'll probably never graduate to the full professional level. But I like tinkering around, and this is one of the things I wanted to tinker around with. So we'll shut the camera down and come back in 2 hours and see what we got, hopefully. Well, it's been 2 hours now. I want to peel off the cover for the red only. Oh yeah, that's much cleaner. That's a lot cleaner. And then I'm just going to put a thin layer of clear coat over it. That's much cleaner. So it's either the pressure on the edges of the tape or how you add the paint. That thin layer at first, let it set for a minute or two. And then this stuff should dry in 10 minutes. 10 minutes or less, actually. So let's do one more coat. There. And then I'm going to wait 10 minutes. Well, it's been about 10 minutes since I put the clear coat on. So now let's try to remove the tape. And it's not always as easy as it looks. There. Now hopefully, since I left these two tabs here, it should pull straight off. Something to get it off in one piece, but I ain't quite that lucky. almost. Well, not almost, but voila. Now I'm going to shoot a picture of it. And then a little closer. And then do it without the flash. So, we'll see later what it looks like on film or on video. I don't think that little light's going to help a whole lot, is it? But there it is. I got my point a little too high. It should be more in the middle. And this should have been a little lower back here, but so my alignment's not as good as on the first one, but the lines are much cleaner. So that first light spray, let it set for a second. I think that may help seal the seams and then do your heavy coat. Well, that's good enough. I mean, it's a, what, 15, 16-year-old truck? Kind of a piece of junk to begin with, but this is just more experimentation and seeing what can be done and how to do it. Next step, I gotta go to the store and get more